C.R.P.H.A. Okay, this one right here is going to be talking about the current situation concerning also the government shutdown and how ignorant and stupid the liberal Democrats are. And of course, the liberal male Democrats in the U.S. government are manginas and they're simps, weaklings, brain dead idiots. On top of that, of course, but the basic fact is that they're allowing Nancy Pelosi to decide whether or not to allow Trump to do his State of the Union speech when basically she has that damn position because of the presidential aspect. Without the presidential position, there would be no House of Representatives and also there would be no Senate. In this country's history, it has always it always started with the top of the branch. In this case, for Washington D.C. and the U.S. of A., it started with the presidency. Then it went to the House of Representatives, chiefs of staffs, various other things, all the way down to the Senate and to the Supreme Court and various other things. But the basic fact is that Nancy Pelosi wants to exert her feminine, female power over something that consists only with the male-female aspect. Okay, and just because she has the gavel politically, that she thinks that she can say whether or not the president can do the State of the Union speech or not. Trump did logically and respectfully reschedule the State of the Union, but yet because of the government shutdown, and yet she doesn't realize that Obama shut the government down to get his way with Boehner. Remember when Boehner was the head of the House? Yet she wants to ignore that and try to punish Trump by trying to make him look bad for shutting down the government when basically he's not doing anything wrong. It's the basic fact is that he's showing by shutting down the government, he's showing the American people that the liberals don't give a damn about the American people, our youth in this country, and the safety and the positive future that he is trying to give and bring to the American people in this country, and to our youth, and to and for our youth, and to and for our American citizens, all legal American citizens. That is. The liberals are sending the illogical, sinful message by saying we want illegals to come into this country. So basically, the mindset of the liberals are, if we can allow people to come from across the Atlantic to enter this country, we can allow illegals to cross our borders to come into this country and consider it legal. There's no logic and realistic attributes to that. It is only legal with documentation. That every time a person crosses those borders illegally, they don't have legal documentation to give them the appropriate legal action to do so. There's no statute to that either. So the liberals are grasping at straws, making excuses so they can look better than the opposing party, being in this case the conservative Republican Party. And in naming our current caring, strong, self-assured president, Donald J. Trump. So the liberals have no card to play really, but they want to act like they do. And Nancy Pelosi is trying to play as if she has a card to play, or cards to play in general, metaphorically, of course. But she doesn't. And anybody who has enough sense watching the particular thing going on with the government shutdown and why it was shut down and whatnot else, and why, and the base of it being reopened, and possibly shut down again. If anybody has any brains, they ought to know that the liberal Democrats don't have any cards to play. They don't have any reason to bitch and moan and try to obscure the president in any way and for any reason. So Nancy Pelosi needs to realize that if she thinks that she can use her feminine bullshit, um, and abuse the power of the House, then she might as well step down. Because I, as an American citizen, I was born and raised in this country, and I will fight for everybody in this country. Because just like Trump, I care about the American people. I care about this country and its future. I care about the youth in this country and their future, as well as the American people's future and this country's future, all in one. Many people who have watched this video may not realize that, but it's the truth. Or else I wouldn't have been advocating since 2004. Even though in 2004 I advocated under NCHA, which is Northern California Humanitarian Advocate, which basically is the base for the American people and our youth, and the base of humanity, of course. But now, seeing that it's C.R.P.H.A, there's a reason for it. The only thing is that I can tell you, I wanted to make a new fresh look for the advocating thing that I'm doing here, and that I have been doing since 2004. The basic fact is that Nancy Pelosi, you need to wake up and smell the coffee. Wake up and smell the base of reality and logic. because C.R.P.H.A. for one is always about logic and will always be about logic. And the reality is, for Nancy Pelosi in this case, is that she cannot abuse the power of the House. She cannot obscure the president in any way. Yes, I know the liberals are upset the fact that the that they were not able to keep hold of the rod of the power of the White House. It it happens for various reasons, and in most cases, when it came to the Carter to Reagan, that was a logical reason. The Reagan to George H.W. Bush Sr., that was a logical reason, even though it was in the same party. From George H.W. Bush Sr. to Clinton, that was a logical reason for its time. Then, when it went from Bill Clinton to to George W. Bush Jr., that was a logical reason, especially for what happened, even before what happened, essentially. Then, over from George W. Bush Jr. to Obama. That might have been that right there. It was historical. That's one thing I will admit. That one thing it was historical. Okay, because nobody in our history probably thought that we would ever have a person in in the White House that would not that would make things historical, just like Martin Luther King did. And I believe me, I back 100% what Martin Luther King did, what he stood for, what he fought for. I will always stand for that, and I always back that. But in the actions of Obama, though, I will not back. He shut down the government because he basically was acting like a little child, just because the the American people were being protected by John Boehner, in the sense that the thing that he promised that he would not have the thing that Obama promised that he would not have a socialist type and unconstitutional healthcare plan, and he promised this while debating, going through a debate with Hillary on CNN broadcast. Then, before he got elected, he went back on his word. He changed his mind because he appointed Hillary Clinton as his in his cabinet, essentially, and they agreed upon various numbers of large things in order for her to be in the cabinet, for one. But what happened there was that he shut down the government till Boehner gave in. So basically, he didn't really care if it was unconstitutional, even though he promised the American people on CNN broadcast that it would not be unconstitutional. That shows you cannot take the word of liberal Democrats. They always seem to in some way or another go back on their words. Now, I respect Obama as a human being and as a child of Heavenly Father. I've said it to many people outside the advocating video here. That will be the truth, and it will always stand to be the truth. I respect everybody, regardless, even if I don't agree with their actions. I respect everybody as a child of Heavenly Father and our say, and this is the, and believe me, the truth is, I will always respect them, but their actions, even politically, I may not agree with. But the basic fact is also is that what Obama did was not really beneficial for the American people. It was not really beneficial for this country. What Obama allowed his wife to do by using presidential power against the Olive Garden, as I mentioned before, and against the Mars Snickers Hershey company was not very logical and not very beneficial for the American people. It didn't help them in any way, shape, or form. It didn't. It didn't. She didn't make a point by doing that either. And that's the base of abusing the presidential power. Nobody is allowed to do that, and I will not stand for that. Of course, the liberal Democratic voters might stand for it because they think that whatever the liberal Democrats say, oh, it must be true. It must be in actuality. It must be a positive thing. Wait a minute. It is not a positive thing to abuse the power in the House, in the presidential aspect, and even from the White House itself, or any, or even in the Senate. You don't see the Supreme Court abusing their powers, do you? You don't see you don't see any number of other people who have a brain up here abusing their powers of stature and position. I know many people would say each police force has done that from time to time, but that's only one person. And that can be rectified easily. But the one thing is that when political parties abuse their power, there's no rectification at all, is there? Because if they try to rectify somebody in their own party, it makes them look bad, even though it's doing some what's right for the American people. It would still make the liberals look bad if they disciplined the liberal idiot president, or if they disciplined Nancy Pelosi, Barbara Boxer, Dianne Feinstein, Jerry Brown, Gavin Newsom, among others, in the liberal Democratic Party. It may be that, actually, come to think of it, it is showing more than conceivable to the American people who are truly paying attention, that are both liberal and Republican and conservative Republican voters. within the American people population, or the population of the American people, essentially, if you want to word it that way as well. Either way, but it is more than conceivable that the liberals are are showing more often than not they don't give a damn about the American people. They don't give a damn about this country. They don't give a damn about our youth. All they're doing right now is bitching and moaning because they don't have the power of the White House. They lost hold of the rod of the power of the White House. So in order to show how upset they are, they're going to make the liberal Democrats are going to try to make the American people see what's being done wrong in their in the liberal eyes. When basically, really, what the liberal Democrats are doing are showing how childish, unprofessional, and illogical they are. But they want to try to cover it up as if it's something good for the country. And I saw the posting of what Nancy Pelosi said about our current president. That shows that she doesn't give a damn about this country either. Trying to downgrade the president, and as I said before, without the president and without the White House in our country's history, there would be no House of Representatives. There would be no position for her to hold the gavel. There would be no Senate. There'd be no position that there is within the House. There would be no position that there is for the Democrats in the Senate either. So, due to this very point right here, is that she has no cards to play. No Democrat in the fucking government has any cards to play. They need to deal with what the American people chose Trump for, and they will have to deal with it whether they like it or not. We American people have to deal with the many things that we don't like out what happens in the real world day in and day out. There's no exception for the political party of the liberal Democrats. Even if they want to pretend that there is, when in reality and logic, there is not. So Pelosi needs to act professional, be professional essentially. Don't act like a little liberal child, whining and bitching and moaning, like the other liberal Democrats are, like Jerry Brown did when he was governor, and like Gavin Newsom is still doing when it comes to our president. And respect and honor the current president and honor the choice of the American people, and who is Donald J. Trump as our country's president. And with that, she cannot block him from doing his State of the Union speech. He is doing something that is logical and more than practical, and more than positive for the American people in this country and our youth. Crime rate in each different state has fluctuated. It's gone up at one point at various points, and it's gone moderately down, and it's stayed moderately to a certain level, right? in different states, different in different parts of the year, different parts of each month, right? And yet we still had the black market going on. We still had illegal drugs being shipped into this country, even going through even if they were truly going through customs. And we've had illegal weaponry coming into this country, even if even after going through customs. We've had illegal shit coming in and out of this country, even while going through customs, that we American people are aware of. It would even be happening today, of all days. It happens day in and day out, 72 hours a day, 7 days a week, every fucking year. Every fucking month, under various different conglomerate groups and black market type of connections. And it is true that when it comes to having illegal shit coming in, like illegal narcotics, for example, even through customs, they have various different ways besides the base of coffee grounds to push off the scent of what's really in the containers from search hounds from ever noticing that there is something illegal in those containers. And many factions have, I'm sure, have tried to pass them off as something else when really that they're not that something else. Kind of baffling, isn't it? But getting back onto the the situation. Okay, now with what I said about the liberal Democrats is more than true. They're acting like children. Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats don't have any cards to play. Yet they want the American people to believe that they do have cards to play, as I said before, but they don't. So Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the liberal Democrats have no choice and no alternative but to allow Donald J. Trump get the wall to be built. So pass the bill or legislation to get the wall built, to pay for the wall being built. One, two, deal with the fact that the American people have chosen Donald J. Trump for our country's president. Don't whine, bitch, and moan like little fucking children, and quit. And you're not being professional by doing that, you stupid little idiots. Three, do not try to dumb down the president. Four, the liberal media needs to quit dumbing down the president. Every station from KCRA 3, Channel 5, Channel 674, the whole enchilada that has to do with NBC, CBS, CNN, any connection with those, they need to quit trying to dumb down the president or go out of service. And those who try to dumb down the president are being un-American. You didn't hear me or anybody else that's in this country dumb down the liberal presidents that we had in this country in the White House for this country. Yes, we may have had maybe like dislikes, but you didn't hear us continuously dumb down the president like Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats have done. Even Meet the Press has tried to dumb down the president. And when the Meet the Press does that, and when CNN does that, you can consider them to be fake news. You consider them also to be un-American. And if Meet the Press wants to meet and talk with me, hey, more the merrier. I'll just tell them straight out the fact and truth, whether they like it or not. Well, if they agree with it, fine. If they don't, I don't give a damn because I know what's the truth, and the rest of the Trump supporters know what's the truth. It may be worded differently per supporter and per Republican conservative Republican voter and supporter. It may be worded differently, but hey, there's nothing to say that it has no positive attribute to it. Okay, now if Nancy Pelosi knows the history of the US of A, being of what I said, if she knows that to be the truth, then she cannot play act like she has cards. She cannot play act to even to the liberal media who are kissing the liberal Democrats' ass, and I know they won't admit that, but they are kissing the liberal Democrats' ass because without the liberal Democrats, the liberal media might as well be reconstrued as the conservative media. Because it is the conservative Republicans and the Republicans that are the ones that truly care about this country. The liberals may have cared about this country during the JFK days, during the being, of course, the JFK John Franklin Kennedy administration. But as I've said, that even with that, they cannot act like a little fucking child, bitching and moaning because they don't have the hold the hold of the rod of the White House and its power. They are we are not we American people are not here for the liberal Democrats or anyone in the political offices. They are doing things for us. So therefore, if the liberal Democrats need to be reschooled, I can tell. If nobody else wants to take the reins to it, I'll reschool them. And I have already reschooled Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the liberal Democrats more often than one time. And yet so far they're not really paying attention, are they? They're just going about it as if they're doing right. They're not doing right. And just there's this the base to where, like, okay, the boy who cried wolf, for example. The liberal Democrats are doing that in their own way. They expect to be rescued in some respect. But they've been crying wolf every time we have a person, the right person in the White House, versus who the liberal Democrats have chosen. Do not do they not see that we respect and honor JFK? But a number of people they don't seem to realize not a whole lot of the population respects and honors the political actions of Barack Obama, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, because after what Bill Clinton did when he came to the job thing, we don't respect him for the Monica Lewinsky thing. We don't respect him for any of the negative crap that he's done before, even before the Monica Lewinsky thing. We don't respect what Jimmy Carter did politically that made it even tougher for the American people to even make a living. And I know within our history that there is something, the fact that made it harder for the people in to make a living in this country, along with the gas prices in the 1970s. But yet, everything that Trump has done and is doing, he's doing for the American people, and everybody can see that. But the liberal Democratic voters don't want to acknowledge that. Obviously, I've run into a few, actually more than a few. But the one thing is, everything that Bush Jr. did, he did for a reason for this country. The American people may not have understood why or didn't like the way it was being done, even after hearing the side of the liberal Democrats of it, trying to act like what they said, trying to act like what the Democrats said about Bush Jr. was really wasn't. Same thing with George H.W. Bush and his actions, but the liberal Democrats have always tried to downplay him. Now they're trying to be using heavy artillery against Trump now. Even what's her name? Kamala Harris has tried to use her heavy artillery against Trump. She's un-American. Yeah, she announced her candidacy for running for president. But just like Hillary Clinton, the American public is not ready for a female president. C.R.P.H.A. and I know a good larger percentage of the population of this country do not discount that the that the female gender can do equally as much as the male gender. But Kamala Harris has no idea, no logical truth idea, and actual idea that is, of how high the deficit is in this country. She does not know how to acclimate anything when it comes to this country's defense and safety. She has no logical way and no knowledge of how to deal with our allies. Hell, Obama didn't was only grasping at straws as well. When it came to using our tax dollars for Air Force One to be flown anywhere he wanted to, even though Barack Obama tried to make us look bad towards the countries that we had no conflicts with by apologizing for no fucking realistic reason. When the American people, the American public knew that we had no reason to apologize to the countries that we had no conflicts with, even in this country's history. But did that matter to Obama? No. Did he even take that to account? Obviously not. He just went ahead and done it anyway, as if it had some logical attributes to it, when really it didn't. It did not, essentially. So Kamala Harris, I respect her as a human being. I respect her as a daughter of Heavenly Father. I respect every female as a daughter of Heavenly Father. But right now, this country, just like the American people have shown in 2016, we are not ready for a female president. You cannot use a female cannot use her emotions, in which basically women have the the aspect of, and everybody knows this. Women use their emotions towards everything that has happens even around them and to them. If there's something horrific or endearing or whatever, they use their emotions and they let their emotions take over most of the time, and they won't even admit that. So generally, right now, we're seeing that this country is dealing with the most heaviest of crap in this country's history. Trying to redo what Obama screwed up to start with. Kamala Harris is not the right person to be this country's commander in chief. With that, there is not to be any liberal Democrat in this country's history. Not even Biden, and who was respected at one point until he joined in as vice president with Barack Obama. Now he's not respected as much as he was before, regardless of his past record. In fact, his past record is not in play right now, even after the fact of joining the side of Barack Obama. So basically, the ones that want to run for president, being of course Biden, Kamala Harris to start with, You will not be the right fit for this country if you're going to follow the liberal socialist actions of your party, being the Liberal Democratic Party, and try to boast out words that sound true to the American people and positive to the American people, when basically you don't have no realistic reason, and and you don't have any actual any actual thought of actually going forth with your promises. Basically, repeating, I know what we would consider to be an Obama. When he promised a lot of shit, he didn't act on his promises. He didn't go forth with his promises, especially when it came to jobs. And that's just one of them. I know there's several others. So the liberal Democrats need to back away from ever entering the White House. They have not truly gotten over the loss of their party member being John Franklin Kennedy. They're trying to recover from what Hillary Clinton did, which basically would easily put this country and its citizens in jeopardy, especially when it came to the online situation and action. And the liberal Democrats need to realize you can't brush off the negative shit that your party members have done and said and did not act on that would have benefited the American people. You can't brush that off as if it was nothing. And I know the liberal Democratic voters and followers may not like what I'm saying, but hey, it's realistic, logical, and fact and truth. And also, there's nothing to make of what I said to be bullshit, because it's not. The liberal Democrats need to realize this, and I do hope they're watching, because I'm being serious about of what I've said and what I have been saying about the liberal Democrats, and especially their party members, especially when it comes to the history and beneficial aspect to this country, the history of and about this country, and the beneficial aspect to and for this country and the American people and our youth. I know the fact of it is that the liberal Democrats also will try to brush off what Jerry Brown did as if it was nothing. He himself went onto a commercial promoting Prop 39 legislation, Prop 39, and I know not very many people are aware of this, if any. I don't know how many are and how many aren't really in this case, but the basic fact is he went on a commercial to promote Prop 39. He was on the commercial with our youth. while promoting Prop 39 to make him look good, apparently. And also try to show what Prop 39 is for and about, right? Among just besides all that, but to make him look good, essentially, mostly that's what he was only focused on. Really, he advertised it to be for our for the state of California's education funding for this, for the schools within the state of California. Lo and behold, before that, many months to about maybe a year and a half or so before that, if not less than that, he announced his high tax plan. Every news media, even the liberal media, heard every person practically say that it was a bad idea for California. It would harm, it would downgrade California in many more ways than one. It would not benefit the American people, would not benefit the state of California. It would not benefit in any shape or form. All it would do is put more money in the pockets of the liberals. If that. What has that done before it went into law? Well, let's re-examine. Well, let's look back essentially. Okay, one, Jack in the Box and Carl's Jr. headquarters, the corporate office. Well, they were about to build and open new locations, new franchises to help with the unemployment situation. But with even after the announcement of the high tax plan, they reenacted as if it was actually already there, already in law, right? Which was a smart business thing, actually. And they found it to be way too costly. So they relocated their corporate offices to Jack and Box and Carl's Jr. Relocated the corporate offices to Texas. Along with that, there was a particular situation with Mervin's along the way, and many other companies went belly up. Hershey's went belly up eventually. Maxwell House, the coffee company, went belly up, closed up. Eventually, Wonder Bread and Hostess went belly up, closed down. Um, let's see, the Campbell Soup companies within the state, within the U.S., gone. Basically, starting with the state of California, gone. Palo Alto Sports Shop and Toy World, one of the most famous family or owned and trusted and respected stores, even though there was only one. At one point there was two, but there was went down back to one. It was on Waverly, off of University, and off of and right down the way from the Palo Alto Post Office in downtown Palo Alto, the business district. That where's the benefit, liberals? Where's the benefit? Where was the benefit, Jerry Brown? Where was the positive structure aspect to it? because it's even while it's in action now, while it's in place now, even Sears is going out of business. Kmart had some it has some issues, and Macy's is starting to have issues now. So how do you figure that Jerry Brown? How do you figure that the Prop 39 went from our school funding for the state of California that would benefit our youth and their futures and their education, all in one, right? To Jerry Brown's proposed high tax, which is basically making things worse, not better, in any shape, form, or anything else for that matter, even for small businesses. Namely, to start with, public portion and toilet, among other ones, even the chain ones as well. He should have left it with the school funding, and there would possibly be no negative thing that happen there. But did he? What do you think? I already know. I've said it in many of my other, in many of the, uh, in one if not many of the C.R.P.H.A videos here. You don't know, do you? Even if you have watched the other video, one of the many of the other videos of C.R.P.H.A, I can tell you straight out. Jerry Brown saw 39 passing under the school funding legislation part of it, right? So what he do? He didn't just stand there watching it as it passed under the school funding. He only thought of what he wanted, what would benefit, what he thought would benefit the state of California and its citizens. But basically, what really would benefit him alone and his party, being the liberal, brain dead, dumbass Democrats. And by doing so, on that aspect, he went behind closed doors and he went through the legislative loophole, changed the attribute from Prop 39 being school funding legislation proposition to his high tax plan legislation proposition. And while everybody was helping Prop 39 to pass, nobody had the inclination, even the thought base that he would do this. Even the liberal voters who voted for this didn't think he would do this. But the end result was it came out even in the Sacramento Bee, the Sacramento City and County's well known historical newspaper conglomerate, if you want to call it a conglomerate. But it's Sacramento's own newspaper, known as the Sacramento Bee, as I said before. They made an article saying exactly what he did in what made Prop 39 going from the school funding to his high tax plan. I knew he would do that before the voting went on. I'm not a mind reader, but I knew that I don't know, you can call it a suspicion or whatever, has nothing to do with distrust or nothing like that, but I had a very strong suspicion, if you want to call it. My suspicion was right, though, wasn't it? And now look at the end result there, Jerry Brown and liberal followers and voters. It's making Sacramento way less possible for the citizens to look for jobs. The only area that you'd be able to look for jobs at any level, retail, fast food, whatever, right? Santa Clara County. And if you're lucky, San Francisco City and County. Contra Costa, among others. Alameda, among others. LA, among other cities and counties within the state of California. The city and state of California, actually. I mean, be that within the cities in the state of California, basically. Even the small towns, if that. So, everything I've said, I know the liberal voters may not like, and I know the liberal followers may not like. They may not even agree with it. But if you look at it, and don't look into your liberal bullshit newspapers, look into the actual papers that will not side with only the liberals. That will go kind of like where they're like bipartisan. They will tell you the strict truth of what happened. Each of what I've said will be on. It may not be worded the way I worded it, but it's on there. So, getting back onto the aspect of this shutdown, Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the liberal Democrats and the Meet the Press better back the fuck away from the president. Quit trying to dumb him down when he's not doing anything illogical. He's not doing anything not unrealistic or anything like that. He's doing something that was right, and I will always back him up with that. He's doing something right for the protection and the safety of the American people and in this country and its youth, and our youth essentially, and for the better base of the future for this country and our youth and the American people, all in one. So Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the liberal Democrats, even Meet the Press, do not have any cards to play, as I said before. So Nancy Pelosi better make it to where before the mid part of February comes, they better get they better get their act together and get a bill passed to pay for the wall. And deal with the fact that the liberal Democrats will never be in the fucking White House as far as it goes right now. They, with their illogical, sinful actions right now, it's not going to be likely. So Nancy Pelosi needs to get the wall paid for and respect the president, Donald J. Trump. Work with him instead of going against him and trying to defy him. Or step down, Nancy Pelosi. Besides, and which also goes to the point. Here's one other point right here. I was about to mention, and I was thinking about it too. I mentioned this in one chat group that when it comes to Nancy Pelosi's age, she will soon be, I believe it was 78 or 79 or something like that, right? Fairly soon, if she's not already that age. It is known to many people here in the U.S. that I believe the age bracket of retirement age is within the late 70s, between 78, 77, 79, right? It should be for the politicians outside the presidency. So therefore, Nancy Pelosi should be stepping down to retire. Many other liberal idiots in the House and Senate should be retiring if they're that within that age bracket. Thereby, there should be a bill passed to where that actually happens, if it hasn't already happened. Because obviously it needs to happen because it would make it more logical and more fair for them to the American people and for the American people if we had it to where the politicians outside the presidency reached the official legal retirement age, stepped down out of the seat, retired, and stay out of politics. Become an American citizen, a normal American citizen, regardless of stature, position that you retired from. Something to think about. And as I said, is that I respect every female on this planet. But Kamala Harris, you dumb down the president. You dumb down the president, the current president, because you knew that was the going base of what the Liberal Democratic Party has done. So you thought you jump on the bandwagon. Big, big negative illogical move, and that's very un-American of Kamala Harris to do that. And it's very un-American for any liberal voter, follower, supporter, and politician of the liberal Democrats to even do that. You cannot be un-American by trying to downgrade and attack verbally, even verbally attack the president of the United States. And Kamala Harris, as I said earlier, even in my other video of the labeling was, is America truly ready for a female president? In the beginning of that video, I did not go directly to say yay or nay, but I got to it eventually. But I'm telling you straight out, Kamala Harris right now. The American people were not ready for Hillary. They didn't want Hillary on top of that because Hillary was planning to take out the Fourth Amendment out of the Constitution, in which would be helping the liberal Democrats with their agenda by tearing down the current Constitution, which is basically illogical, immoral, unprofessional, and stupid, and just so they can rewrite the Fourth Amendment to their liking. Any liberal politician that even has the inclination of destroying the current Constitution is way more than un-American and should be casted out of the country for good. and also completely disbanded from the political party. And if the political party is not willing to disband them, the party members for those actions that I've even mentioned that are illogical and not beneficial to this and for the American people and for this country and for our youth, then the liberal Democrats should disband the whole entire party of the liberal Democrats. It is true that if there's no base to where the liberals get a bill to where the wall's paid for, that Donald J. Trump can use his executive power under the Constitution of the United States to where he can get it to where the wall's built and paid for. But also, he can also use the executive power to disband the Liberal Democratic Party in more ways than one, and disband and block every action that the Liberal Democrats will ever even think of doing or even attempt on doing from here on through. Even if Donald J. Trump's not in office, it will still be where every action and and any action that they attempt on doing, that the Liberal Democrats attempt on doing, will be blocked. That's an idea right there, Trump. Um, so, what would you want to say to what I said? Do you agree with me, or do you want to talk to me more about it, or do you disagree with me and why? Let me know in the bottom there. But I speak my mind, and I know what to be the truth, even what's more beneficial for this country and our youth and the American people, more than the liberal Democrats will ever admit. Even if the liberal voters cannot see, are too blindsided to see what I say to be the truth, they need to re-examine things. And Kamala Harris is not going to be liking what I said, but I stand by what I say, and I'm not going to back down from it. Trump for 2020 as our United States President of the United States of America. Trump, I salute you, and you keep on up the good work, my friend. Kamala Harris, like I said, I respect you as a human being and as a daughter of Heavenly Father, but you do not have what it takes to be our country's commander in chief. You do not know what it really truly takes and what you would have to actually be faced with. And like I said in the one video, considering that says again, is America truly ready for a female president? Kamala Harris, you would make this country look like a weakling, way more than Obama did, and it wouldn't be within our allies' beliefs and their standards when it comes to the female gender current. Granted, but I can tell you one thing: as time goes on, there may be a time to where it be more than acceptable for and visually acceptable, especially um, even to our allies in other countries, that a woman can do what males have done for centuries as president. But right now, that's not in the cards. I'm not going to say it's going to be in the cards within our lifetime. I'm not going to say if it's going to be ever in the cards even before our lifetime. There's a chance that it may never be in the cards. I'm not going to say it won't be, but I'm just saying there's a chance. There's also a chance that it would be in the cards even before our lifetime. I mean, even actually after our lifetime, essentially. After our lifetime, essentially, it could be in the cards at some point down the line. But right now, as it stands right now, Kamala Harris, it's not in the cards for you to be president, for any woman to be president. And that's, you may call that sexist or whatever the hell else, but I'm not I'm not going that direction. I've always said, even maybe not a whole lot on this on my advocate videos here, but I've always believed that women can do just as much as guys can do. But as it stands within the presidential attributes and presidential aspect and what have you else, the cards are not showing any aspect of a female in this lifetime as well as the lifetime before and during our lifetime. Like I said, it may happen. It may be in the cards after we leave this planet at some point down the line. Maybe not right away, but it will be. I'm not going to say it will be really 100%, but it could be getting to that point. But it's not going to help the liberal Democrats to be having a woman in the White House as our president if they keep on acting like little children and doing things that only benefit the liberal party and doing things that don't benefit the American people and our youth and our country and the futures for each and every one of our youth and each and every one of our American people population and every part of this country. Now, that's something that your party has to think about, and that's something you need to think about. You will find that I am telling the truth. And I'm not being, and I may be sincere in some respect, but hey, I'm also being truthful and logical here. Okay, this is C.R.P.H.A. saying Trump for 2020 as the United States president. And believe me, I will always stand by what I say. And I will not back down from defending and protecting the American people in my own way. May Heavenly Father bless you all, and please stay safe.